Yay.
Hello, everybody. Ella J here for a wrestling gal, and today I'm joined by a face we have not seen in a long time, but it is a fresh face, a bright face. Nova Fury, how are you today?
Hello, I'm good. How are
I
you?
am so good to catch up with you, my friend.
Yay.
It, like we were saying off
Yes.
air, it has been a hot, hot minute. It's been a good half decade since the last time I talked with you.
Literally.
So
Yeah,
much has changed, my friend, which of
it
course we'll
has.
get into, but I would be remiss
Yeah,
if I didn't start off by talking about at the time of recording this. It's kind of a sad day, a
I
memorable day
know.
in the One Direction world. It is the 11-year anniversary of the day that Zayn left One Direction. I remember exactly
The
where I
worst day
was and
ever.
how I
Me
found
too.
out.
Me
I'm so
too.
curious,
Me too.
where were you when you found out that Zayn was
Okay,
leaving 1D?
so I was best friends with this girl named Emma, and she was like, when I say obsessed, I mean like had Harry Styles' fedora signed, had pieces of his hair. Like it was kind of creepy, gross, but it was like cute. Like I'm here for
Yeah.
it, you know? And then her and we were in 8th grade and we were at school and I think it was yeah, we were in 8th grade. I was in class and then she just started sobbing and I was like, "What's wrong?" And she told me she's like, "Zayn just left One Direction." I was like, "No way. No, he did not. No, he did not." And it was like yeah, it was devastating because I remember when after that when Made in the AM came out, her and I like throughout school we would just walk around just jamming the album because we were like, this is the first album without Zayn. It was like, oh my gosh. Something that I actually saw a post the other day that it's relatable. It was like, you can't hurt me. My favorite boy group has gone from 5 members to four twice. And I was like, no, no. Yeah,
Yeah, we won't talk about the other thing, but I do
good.
also remember exactly. I was in calculus class. My friend texted me. I would go, "What?" And then on the way home from school, I called her immediately and I was crying as I was walking home after school because I was Zane. I was a Zane girl. So like that was my boy and I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah,
Man, good memories though, sad memories at
I
the
know.
same time. I did see that you visited the beach where they filmed What Makes You
I
Beautiful music
did.
video. I need to know more
I
about
did.
this. I'm jealous,
Okay.
by the way.
So I was out here for Christmas, right? And my boyfriend actually surprised me with the Christmas present. I told him I told him all about it. Like I told him I was like, "Yeah, One Direction filmed at in Miami Beach or whatever." So what did he do? He took me to Miami Beach. And we literally like he has the video of me crying. Like sobbing my eyes out because I was watching the What Makes You Beautiful music video. And I was like, this is that part, this is
Yeah.
that spot. And yeah, so I actually got that for Christmas and I was like, wow, this is like the best Christmas gift I've ever been given. I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of tears, and I opened his ears to One Direction because he only knows a few songs, but I was like, no, you have to listen to this one and this one, and I was like, you have to listen to Stockholm Syndrome, and you have to listen to Night Changes. I was like, just listen to the whole four album with me, please.
Mhm. Does he
Yeah.
have a favorite One Direction song now? He better.
I don't know if he has a favorite. He likes Story of My Life and he
Good
likes You
one.
and I. And I was like, okay, you like the ballads. I get you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But I'm not exactly sure. But I
Well,
think
you
those
got to
are the
find
ones
out now.
I know. But those are the
That's
ones he sings the most.
yeah.
So, yeah.
I can just
But
imagine you on the beach, like this is where so and so say had their solo. This is where they were running across. I
yes.
can just imagine that. Oh my God, that's so
Yes.
exciting.
Absolutely. I did. I was like I think I have a video of me running on the beach. I don't know. Maybe my boyfriend might have it, but I was like I was running just like they were, and I was just like crying because I was like, this is where Louis stood, this is where Harry stood, this is like when they did that thing where they jumped off of the big log or whatever, the big chunk of wood. I was like, oh gosh, yeah, it was the best day ever. It really
Yeah.
was. Hmm.
To the best song ever. Sorry,
Yes.
now that's in my head. Um, I
Classic.
have to imagine that they're still, I don't know if you have like Apple or Spotify, but I still have to imagine that they're like near the top of your like on repeat playlist. Yeah.
It's on every single
Your
podcast.
Wrapped.
I even, oh yeah,
Ah!
every single one. I have a designated workout playlist that's just like One Direction workout songs,
Mhm.
but I threw in a few slow songs in there. So like when I'm cooling down on the treadmill or something, I'm like listening to like You and I, and I'm like
Mm.
mouthing the words as I'm walking, like, but yeah, no, I mean, it hits hard in the gym. It really does.
Is there a certain one that like really, really gets you like pumped up and motivated?
Um, what is that song? Heart Attack is one of them for sure. Um, Stockholm Syndrome, because I think that's my favorite song. I hate saying that I
Yes.
have a favorite song by them because
Mm.
I'm like, I love them all. I love all of them. But Act My Age is a good one too. I like working out to that one. That one's pretty good. Yeah, I guess pretty much just all the upbeat ones. Midnight Memories.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally understand. Sometimes you need that good, like, emotional song, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes you maybe need a good cry, even if it's in the gym. We love One Direction as a collective.
Yes.
I've had the pleasure of seeing two of them as solo stars. I'm curious if you have seen any of them solo as well. Obviously, like
No.
after the. Okay, fair enough.
No, I mean, Zayn is doing his residency right
He
now,
is.
and Vegas is only 6 hours away. So, but I'm also not paying $1,200 to go see Harry Styles. Like,
Valid.
I love Harry, but that's a bit much. And then I saw Louis going on back on tour. I actually have a friend who went and saw Louis on tour, and I texted her and I was like, I'm so jealous because Louis was my guy. That was like,
Yes. Yeah,
I
I
feel like
remember
he was
that.
the underdog. I feel like he was the underdog out of everybody else
Yeah.
because he didn't have, I mean, he's a fantastic singer, but he wasn't Harry Styles. He wasn't
Yeah.
Zayn. He wasn't, I feel like Louis and Liam were the two, I guess, quote unquote, underdogs, but
Yeah.
also they wrote most of the songs. So,
I've been fortunate to see, now it's kind of sad looking back. I've seen Niall and Liam in concert. Obviously, like R.I.P. Liam. We don't have to get into
yeah.
that,
We
but
know what? No.
I know, I know. But you alluded to it. The last time I talked with you, you were in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Now you're on the West
Mm-hmm.
Coast. Um
Cali.
I don't know how much you want to get
Yeah.
into it, but what prompted this move to the West Coast, basically halfway across the country?
Yeah. I can tell you. So long story short, I was with this all women's wrestling company that was starting up. I was actually one of the ones that was starting it, like helping create it and all this stuff. And I finally had the opportunity this year and last year. Last year I went to San Diego Comic-Con because I had a panel with this company, and I did the same this past year as well. Oh, I guess 2024 and 2025. 2025, I came out here and I was promised I'm gonna try to be nice, but I was promised that I would be able to be out here because we were working. Apparently, we had partnerships with companies in Japan. I think it was like Ice Ribbon, which is a competitor of New Japan when it comes to the women's wrestling.
Yes.
And I guess we had one of their talent signed with the company, and I only knew so much about who was signed and all this stuff,
Yeah.
whatever, whatever, which is okay. I don't need to know everything. But the owner of the company, he told me that they signed so and so from Ice Ribbon and that she was going to be at the New Japan Dojo here in Cali all month of July. He's like, I need you to come out here and I need you to train and I need you this because I want to build you to be this top tier athlete. And I was like, say less. Oh my gosh, that's a huge opportunity. Just to even train at the dojo is a big opportunity. So I was like, that alone, plus with a wrestler from Japan, that's a big deal. And I was all for it. And he's like, okay, but I need you to stay for the whole month because I've got this schedule for you and blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. I get here, crickets for a few days. And then he's like, oh, well, something happened with the visa and she's not going to be able to make it until this day. Okay, cool. I'll wait. Okay, cool. Great. Waited. heard nothing. I met my boyfriend within that time, and um he took me in and I got to stay with him, which I thought was amazing. It was so sweet of him. And in doing so, this person was like, okay, we're gonna do this. Okay, we're gonna do this. So me, I was telling my mom, I was telling my boyfriend, I was telling everybody, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start on this day. I'm gonna start on this day. And then I find out, no, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So I was out here for an entire month. I did Comic-Con, which
Yeah.
was great and it was fun. But I was like, I've been out here for an entire month being promised something that I was never given. Um, and then, yeah, like I said, I met my boyfriend, so I've been coming back and forth to see him. And then December, I officially decided to come out here and move with him. So yeah, I'm super excited and I'm really happy. I really like sometimes the people out here are a bit crazy, like a lot, because everybody in Tennessee is like very chill, very laid back,
Yeah.
very welcoming, very like, hey, how are you? Let me make you some bread if you come over or something like
Hmm.
that. I don't know. Fried chicken. But so it is very different here. But also the beach is like right in my backyard. Not literally, but like there's
Yeah.
beaches all over the place here. So literally you turn, boom, there's a beach. And it's amazing, because that's good. It helps when you're like having a really rough day and you need to de-stress and stuff. Sometimes, I'll go and we'll just sit on the beach and just breathe, just listen to the water and the waves, and it's very, very relaxing. I wrestled for the first time in California. Was it February?
Alex Gracia, right?
February?
January?
Yep. Alex,
Yeah.
was it January? January, February,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. Alex Gracia, yep. And then I have another show the end of May. Um, yeah, which I'm really excited about because I'm like, oh my gosh, that was my first time wrestling on the West Coast. Well, I guess I wrestled in Salt Lake City, not like a few years ago when I was still Roxy,
Yeah.
um, for like the mascot marathon thing that they were doing over there, or Miracle Mascots, I think is what it was. Um, but yeah, so I was like, oh my gosh, this is my I can mark Cali off as another state that I've wrestled in.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was really fun. And now I'm just like been going to the gym quite a bit. I'm trying to start a new diet. I'm just trying to breathe now. I haven't been getting bookings and stuff, which I'm like, but I think it's better for me to heal myself mentally, physically, whatever. And then
Yeah.
when I'm ready, that's when I can jump back in full force, whatever, whatever. And I do know that there are like WoW films out here, and I do know a bunch of girls that wrestle for WoW. So that might be a cool opportunity maybe one day. I don't know. I don't know what's in the cards. I really don't know. I don't know.
So are
But
you based near LA or San Diego, San
mm-hmm.
Francisco?
LA. Yep.
Okay. Oh, so you're in the
Uh-huh.
LA life now. Um, I
Yeah.
am curious because I know sometimes when people go out there, I mean that's basically the entertainment like hub. I'm curious if you've had like any aspirations to like extend your entertainment work into like acting or like improv or anything like that.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I was acting from the time I was like 3. I think I got a commercial gig, but then I was in the middle of moving,
Oh.
so I couldn't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I started doing theater when I was about 6, up until up until all throughout high school and everything. So
Yeah.
and then honestly, professional wrestling is a type of acting.
Yes.
It definitely is a form of acting. So. I mean, maybe if there was an opportunity. I mean, if they made a live action Frozen, I would be the first one to audition for Anna. I mean, just but that's not like a big ambition of mine. I mean,
Hmm.
wrestling is like my life. That's my thing, and that's what I want to pursue.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, everything takes time. Everybody here wants to be an actor.
Of course, yeah.
Everybody.
You're
And I'm
kind
like,
of an actor, like you said, just
yeah,
more
yeah,
more
kind
more
of.
physical, just more on the physical side.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing I love. When I first started wrestling, I told my mom, I was like, Mom, these are two things that I love, working out and acting, just combined. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially.
It's good to have that break though. I mean, for one, that's a big
Mhm.
move, like halfway across the country. So like you
It
need
is,
time to
yeah.
adjust, and sometimes you need that like
Yeah.
mental, physical break. You said you continuing to work out. So sometimes you need that mental
hmm
break though.
It's
Maybe
been a lot. And I
Mhm.
think the past 7 years, everything that I've been through my personal life, but also my wrestling life,
Yeah.
everything has just been like a huge weight on my shoulders. And now it's like I'm at the point where, okay, I'm struggling. I need that mental clarity. I need to be able to um have that mental peace, And that's why it's like I have my person here, like I have my person, I have a dog, and like they're the only two people that I have here. I mean, my dog's not a person, but they're the only two things that I have here that are like that make me happy.
Mhm.
And it's just I'm trying to figure out who I am through not doing wrestling as much because my whole personality for the past 7 years has been wrestling, 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 wrestling,
Yeah.
wrestling. And I don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it. And I'm beyond thankful for that. But it's like, where's the Rylee out of that? Where's the Rylee? Because there was Rylee Rockett, there was Roxy, we don't speak of Rylee Ratchet, but she existed at one point. There
Yes.
was, and now there's Nova. And it's like, where's Rylee? Where's
Mhm.
Rylee in all of this? Like, there are things I do that I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? Why am I acting this way? Why am I whatever, whatever? And then I'm like, I don't want to have an excuse and say, oh, it's from this or it's from this, it's from this. But, it's unfortunately that's the truth. It's a lot of built up whatever. Sometimes I'm aggressive, not like hitting people, but like sometimes certain movements I'm like, and I feel really bad about it because I don't mean to be like that, but that's just what I'm used to, and I'm trying to work on it. It's just hard. But
Yeah.
thankfully now I'm at the point where I know I'm like, okay, I need to get back to the old Rylee, the old Rylee, find
Mhm.
Rylee, not Rylee Rockett, not Nova Fury, not Rylee or Roxy or whatever. So, and I think in me finding myself will also help with my wrestling career as well.
Yeah.
So,
Well, let's talk about Nova Fury for a second because the last time I talked with
okay.
you, you were Rylee Rockett, then you were Roxy,
Mm-hmm.
then we will not talk about that other one, and now you're
Yeah.
Nova Fury in the ring, in the ring.
Yes. Yes.
What prompted that name change and character change for you? Because I feel like
Okay.
Roxy and Riley are similar. Nova Fury is like completely different side of you.
Yeah. Well, Rylee Rocket, I think, is probably the closest to me. She was
Yes.
obsessed with space, like this big time, like space princess, very inspired by Starfire, whatever, intergalactic superhero
You're
without
wearing a
a
Star Wars
Guardian of the
shirt right now
Galaxy without
too.
saying that. So yeah, from that, and then when I was on NWA, I was um Rylee Rocket for like my first two matches or so. And then they were like, hey, we want to put you with Ella and Kenzie. Okay, great. I've been wrestling these girls since I started, and it was great. They were like, okay, we want you with Pretty Empowered. And I was like, say less. I've been wrestling these girls since I started. I'm very, whatever. I've been wrestling them every week. At one point, I was wrestling Kenzie like every single week at 127. Every Thursday, it was her and me or tagging or against each other in tag matches and mixed tags and all this stuff. And it was absolutely amazing. I absolutely love her. So when NWA was like, hey, we want you pretty empowered, I was like, done. But they were like, so long story short, it was one of the producers or writers ended up in the hospital. I think they had some medical issue. I'm not going to get into it. But when he came back, they put my name as Roxy on the call sheet instead of Rylee. And they came to the back and they're like, look, are you Rylee or are you Roxy? Like, what do what are you? And I was like, you know what? I'll be Roxy because that sounds more heelish. That sounds more badass than
Yeah.
Rylee Rockett. I feel like Roxy fit the whole team of Pretty Empowered a lot more than
Yeah,
Rylee
yeah.
Rockett. So I just went with it. But in doing so, I guess I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who the character Roxy was because I was either too much like one girl or too much like the other. And I was like, I'm trying to find my own. But at that time, I was like, look, I don't know how to be a heel besides what these girls are doing because these girls are like the ones that taught me how to be a heel. And I've learned everything about being a heel from watching them and from watching them behind the scenes or when they cut promos or vignettes or watching them in the ring, how they react and interact to the crowd and all that stuff. So it's like everything that I knew about being a heel, granted, whatever. I did character work and stuff in training school and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But like watching these girls be the amazing heels, I was like, okay. But it got to the point where I was too much like one or too much like the other, too much like both. Roxy was not her own character. And in that, I wanted to be Rylee Rockett. I remember talking to Kenzie. I was actually talking to all three of the girls because Kylie was part of Pretty Empowered too as well.
Yeah.
And we were driving up to, I think we wrestled in New Jersey at the Monster Factory. We all did tag matches. And I remember having a heart to heart. And I was like, I'm not happy as Roxy. I was like, I miss being Rylee Rockett. I miss being that baby face, that whatever, and the girls were pretty supportive of that. I remember Kenzie being like, I think that's honestly the best decision for you is to go back to that baby face because that's where you shine the most. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely am beyond thankful that I was given the opportunity to be Roxy because I like being a heel. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. I like being a heel because I'm not a mean person, so when I get to pretend to be that mean person and level that up is just fun. That's why I also like being a tweener because I can go back and forth. Okay, do you need me to be the aggressive baby face? Okay, do you need me to be the cheating, conniving, lying heel? Like what? Um, that's why I like being able to do both now. But yeah, and then the whole Nova Fury thing again. It was with this company that no longer exists, or if it does, I know nothing about it. The all women's
Yeah.
company that I was supposed to be wrestling for. Um, no tea, no shade, but all tea, all shade. But yeah. Anyways, I was telling them I was like, look, I want to be this. I want my space gimmick back because it's not done. I think the only space character, I guess you can say, is Chris Statlander.
Statlander,
And
yeah.
she's like this alien thing or whatever. And I was like, okay, but I wanted similar to Rylee Rockett, this superhero of the galaxy who goes between dimensions and realms defending her place or defending space or whatever. I could work with NASA or something like I don't know. I don't know. But I was like, that's so intriguing to me. And I think that that's pretty interesting to everybody else, like especially nerds. Star Wars, Star Trek, Guardians of the Galaxy. You have a ton of Marvel movies in space, Captain Marvel. So I was like, or in DC, you have, I mean, Superman's an alien. And like, I mean, Starfire is from space. So I was like, okay, this is different, and I would love to be able to take that to the next level. So instead of going from Rylee Rockett, I was given a list of a bunch of different first names and a bunch of different last names, and I just picked them. And I picked Nova Fury, and I was like, that sounds like a comic book character.
Yes, it does.
That sounds like a superhero. And I was like, that's what I want. And then it went from me wanting to be this interdimensional galactic being to them telling me, no, that won't work. WWE has already tried that and it didn't work. And we're not going to try it because we know it's not going to work for us. And I was like, so everything I've just built is okay, fine. So then now I guess Rylee Rockett is just, or Nova Fury is just, I guess, just me. I don't know. At this point, it's like they told me no, that what I wanted to do and what I felt was me, was more my own character, my own creation. something that I could have fun with, they were like, no. So then now I'm kind of in the middle of figuring out, okay, do I want to just be like every other female heel and be this mean, snobby brat, whatever, whatever, or do I want to pull out the space gimmick, but I could still be a heel and be from space, you know? I mean, I definitely could. But right now I'm kind of in that, and in doing so, I'm, again, working on just everything about myself. And I
Yeah.
think that that will help discover who Nova Fury is a lot more, because my goal is definitely, obviously, in wrestling, a secret that they tell us. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but oh well. They tell us to be ourselves, but amp it up times
Yeah.
10 or times
Yeah.
100. And that's where it was like, I couldn't figure out the difference between Roxy and Rylee, between Nova Fury and Rylee, between whoever and Rylee. That's where I was like, okay, because I want the difference. I don't want to have to be in there and be like, oh, hey guys, I'm Rylee. I'm from Tennessee. Crank it up 10 notches, whatever. I want that character. I want the theatrics. I want that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Nova Fury. Yeah, I know who that is. Not, oh, I know who Rylee is, because I feel like if I'm myself times 10 in the ring, then they're not going to differentiate Rylee from Nova. It's just going to be, and I won't be able to have privacy at all wherever I go, and that's
Mm.
where I'm like, okay, I need to find that balance between, and I know that obviously there is going to be part of Rylee in Nova. I know that, but I'm not all Nova, if that makes, like, Rylee is not all Nova.
Yes.
So yeah.
Well, the beauty of the indies, whenever you do return, is the creative freedom there to kind of be who you want to be. And like you said, you have this time now to not only
Exactly.
find yourself, your actual being, but also your
Mm-hmm.
character, who you want her to be. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
so curious. You're so, if you think back to little Riley, like actual like little version of
I
you,
know.
were you always interested in
Yes.
space? Did you have like big visions to be involved in space when you were older, or what was your vision of
I
doing for a
I
living when you were older?
I never, it's so funny. I never like wanted to be an astronaut or anything. I just
Okay.
thought space was cool. I thaught the colors were cool. Like when you
Yeah.
I had a thing for, like, I really liked constellations at nighttime in the summer. One year my aunt and uncle got me and my siblings these blow up, um they kind of look like a rowboat, but it's a blow up. I don't know. It's just like in a big inflatable bed thing. And we each of us got one, and we would just go lay outside on that in the grass and just look up at the constellations and just, wow. I just think it's so fascinating because it's infinite, and there's so many different galaxies and billions of stars, and it's like there's so much to discover there. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. So,
I think so too. I can
yeah.
imagine you on the moon though. I think that would be
Oh
really cool. Or
no.
involved, you know what? You're in LA. They need to get you on like some space sci-fi show, even if it's just a cameo. Like
I
that
mean,
I think would be really cool.
yeah, that would be pretty cool. I mean, apparently females just went in a rocket ship, Katy Perry and those people, like,
Ah, that's true. You could be in space for like 10 minutes. That's all you need. There you go. That yeah, yeah, yeah. I know.
yeah. No, but I don't know. And then lately I just get, things on my TikTok feed that just pops up about, like, there was a rover on Mars or something, and it just sent out its final signal, and it was like, I'm losing battery, it's getting dark, I couldn't find anything or something like that. And I was like, oh
It's
my gosh,
sad.
like, what?
Yeah.
And I think I read somewhere that there actually is a female astronaut that's actually getting ready to go to the moon. I
Hope
don't
so.
know where I read
Hmm.
that. Again, TikTok, because I'm on TikTok more than anything. It's an obsession, and um but no, so I think, I don't know, that would be really cool. I'm all for women, I'm all for trying to be a girl's girl as best as I can. I mean,
Well, it is Women's History Month.
it
As
sure is.
so in that spirit, couple more questions for you. In that spirit
Hmm.
though, who are some women inside and outside of wrestling that inspire or empower you?
Yeah. Okay. So in the ring, definitely my girl Chelsea Green. Um, I used to watch her, I think when she started, maybe it was Tough Enough or like right after Tough Enough. And then she started to do like
Oral
TNA and NWA
Madness,
and all that.
yeah.
But when I met her, that's when I was like, I want to be you when I grow up. Like, yeah, yeah. I was obsessed. And I actually got to wrestle her on it was on NWA. And that was like a huge moment for me. Another one is Melina. I grew up watching Melina. I had the pink action figure that did the splits, and I thought it was the coolest doll ever. Um, and then definitely my girl Sasha Banks or Mercedes Monet. She's always been somebody that I've admired so much because she can literally do everything. She's done everything. She's been in Japan. I think she did TNA. I think she did NWA. She did literally everything, and she earned her way. She got to where she wanted to be because she worked hard for it. It wasn't handed to her, and she was so good at what she does. She's not a high flyer. She's not a technical. She's not this. She's not that. She's a little bit of everything, and that's what I aspire to be: is a little bit of everything. I want to do strong style here. I want to do technical. I want to do high flying. I want to be able to just adapt to the crowd or adapt to the person that I'm working with to be able to you know, do that in the ring. And it's just so inspiring. Outside of the ring, I don't really know.
That's valid.
um, well, Zendaya is a big inspiration because she's very much so a girl's girl. She likes to keep to herself, but she also tells people what's up when something's up. She's not afraid to call anybody out whenever somebody does something bad. And I love that and I strive for that. For real.
She icon, by the way. I think she just
Period.
recently got married or engaged or something.
She
I saw
she
that. I
had
was like, girl, okay.
yeah, her and Tom Holland had a
Yeah.
private wedding apparently,
Yeah.
which I think is so funny and it's so iconic because she literally was just in a movie with Robert Pattinson about a wedding and about marriage and I was like this is the perfect way for you to hide this. Like
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've also been fortunate to share a locker room with a lot of female veterans, like an Angelina
I
Love, a
have.
Jazz, like a Melina. I know Jazz was
Yes.
really kind of maybe not instrumental, but definitely influential on your career. So I'm curious, what are some things that you've learned from Jazz that have really stuck with you?
Um Well, first off, she told me not to do my X Factor all the time because it messes up your back.
Ah,
Um, but a lot of it is just practice, just train, just perfect your craft. Just know, I mean, always be ready to learn, always be ready for anything. That's a huge thing for all of us. And the fact that she literally she's I love her so much. I have not spoken to her in a minute and it makes me so sad. But I mean she's literally this ball of fire and like the fact that she literally was a trailblazer for the women's division. Literally. And it's like she's one of the hardest hitting women that I've ever watched. And it's beautiful in the way that she moves and like she's just a big inspiration. She's helped a lot of us girls out big time in the locker room and like learning the psychology aspect of we do this here because this makes sense here and this is the story they want. You got to be this, you got to up your character, you got to do this, you got to and it's helped so much.
yeah. And it's definitely lessons that stick with you. And in final question, we mentioned it at the beginning. You
Mm-hmm.
just recently surpassed the 7 year anniversary of your debut.
Yes.
So if you look back between then and now, or maybe even the last time we talked, it was right before your 2 year anniversary. How do you think you've grown personally and professionally in these last 7 years?
Um, I've learned a lot about myself within the past 7 years. I've learned, I don't know, I've become a lot tough, but a lot more emotional. When I was younger, I used to hold all of my emotions back because growing up, I was taught you can't cry because it shows weakness, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. And, when bad situations happened to me, I just had to suck it up and just deal with it. And then now I'm at the point where I'm crying all the time. Like, I'm
Mm,
not meaning to. I mean, like,
relatable.
I don't mean to, I don't mean to cry all the time, but if I care about something, if something means something to me, if I love somebody or if I love something, if I'm passionate about it, I'm gonna cry about it because I care. Because I care, and that's something that was hard for me because I was like, no, I'm not gonna cry. I'm too cool for that, or I was taught not to do that because my dad taught me not to, crying shows weakness and it's annoying and whatever, whatever. And now I'm at the point where it's like, okay, crying is okay because that means I care. Because I have feelings too. I can feel too, So it's like, okay, I've learned that. But I'm also a lot tougher. Like, I call people out on things. I stand up. I try to stand up for myself. That's hard, but I'm working on it. Um, I say what I need to say when I need to say it, I guess. But also I've become a lot tougher. Because I mean when I hit people in the ring, I actually hit them. And whether you're gonna take it or not, that's on you. But I'm coming in like a freight train. So
Like a fury. Yeah.
yeah, 5'2" of fury. That's what my slogan is. Yep. 5'2" of fury. I'm gonna get that on a t-shirt.
But
Yeah.
I think it perfectly encapsulates because you started, I mean, you were at 16 maybe?
Yeah, I started a month before my 17th birthday.
Yeah, so you were trying to grow
Hmm.
up at the same time,
I
let
know.
alone, adapt to wrestling. You were still trying to grow up
Right.
yourself.
I was
So,
like wrestling grown men. Like they were, I mean, well, at one point it was me and another girl at the training school, but then at one point it was just me.
yeah,
So I was wrestling these grown men who were actually hitting me, and I was like, okay. Because Ricky Morton in the ring, he's like, hey, if you're in this ring, you all are equal. It doesn't
yeah.
matter. You all are equal. And I was like, all right, let's go,
That just means you can wrestle anyone. So,
Exactly. Yeah. I choose not to wrestle men anymore though, because I'm like,
valid. Valid.
yeah, yeah.
It's
When
Women's
I
History Month.
that part, that part.
Totally valid. But
Yes.
I love that spirit though. You have grown up. You're still so young, but you have grown so much since then. And I sincerely wish
Yeah.
you all the clarity and all the best. I
Thank you so much.
promise you the next time we chat, it will not be another 5 years. We will make it much
That's
sooner.
okay.
But before we let you go
Yeah,
for now,
girl.
please let the listeners know where they can find you online and support you.
Yes. Okay. So I am trying to take like a mental health break away from my
Valid.
social media, but while I'm away, if you guys want to follow me, it is Nova Fury _pro on Instagram, and then I think it's still Rylee Rockett on X. I don't know. I'm taking a break from it right now, but
She'll be
it's
back.
still there. Yeah,
She'll be back.
eventually. One
Yeah.
day. I don't know.
Just got to do some self-reflection and
Yeah,
self-discovery maybe. And then
exactly.
you mentioned you got a show in May.
May
Maybe by
31st.
that
Yeah.
time, yeah, maybe by that time
I
Nova
have,
Fury will be unleashed.
yeah, the Reign of Fury. Hmm.
Well, Riley, Roxy, Nova Fury, thank you so much for joining me here today. It's been a
Of
pleasure.
course. Yeah. Thank you so much.